All right. Thanks for coming back. Absolute blast meeting everybody last week, spending time one on one with you guys. Enjoyed our time. A little foggy and a little cool in the San Fran area, and man, oh man, I feel for you guys. The poverty and the homelessness there was just absolutely mind boggling, and yeah, just tugged on my heartstrings when I was there. I feel for all those people there in that city. It's incredible, incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
and sad to see when it's happening in one of the most expensive cities now in the state, right? It's you guys are more expensive than New York, from what I hear.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, unreal, unreal. So today, a topic I'm excited about to share with you, just using pre-listing, using pre-buyer packages, using different approach on. I'm big on the process, and I'm big on the presentation, and being able to. I think the greatest compliment that we can get is when somebody says you're a lot like nobody else in this industry, and I think that's what this topic today is going to reveal, is how you can be a lot like nobody else in this industry and how you can get yourself a little bit of an edge. And one of the messages I think that was really important was being more people focused and customer client centric focused than ego and self focused. And I think that this does a good job of that, and doing what we want to do there. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the material here and share with you guys, the power in the process, the power in a appointment presentation process package, and how you can set yourself apart and give yourself an edge over the competition. I think the official number right now is 1.4 million agents in the United States, and there's about 130,000 in Canada. So there's a lot of competition. We need a little edge and a little something to set us apart, and that's what I'm hoping to do for you guys this morning. So first things first, you need to understand the benefits and the why behind the wow. And so I believe that having a pre-appointment, pre-seller, pre-buyer presentation process and package is going to do a couple of things for us. First things first, it's going to engage the client's interest before we've even met them. And how many people would agree that it would be nice to have the business before we've even met the customer? Would you agree? How nice would that be?
Yeah.
And then one thing I know, and one of the messages I took away last week, was that it's not good enough to be known, liked, and trust, but seen. And so this will be a tool in which you can be seen, trusted, liked, and known in advance with them, and build that trust, build that likability, build that presentation, and be present with them in advance, and take care of a lot of that before we've even met with them face to face and in person. It'll give you an opportunity to get known and liked quicker. It literally will wow them from the process, wow them from the presentation, wow them of the whole experience that we're going to try and create. And it's going to set the tone for myth busting, right? It's the myth out there is that all agents, all brokerages, and all marketing strategies are the same, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. And the truth is that they're different, and we're different, and brokers are different, and processes are different, and marketing plans are different, and that's going to set that tone right off the bat of how you are different and how you are not like anybody else in this industry, just from the get-go, before we even met face to face. It's going to knock your competitor out without actually having to knock them. You don't people don't like it when you have to knock others about their business and how they do business. That's not a that's not a good reflection of who you are as a person. So this is going to knock them without actually knocking them. I hope you get that whole premise of that, is
Mhm.
being able to knock them out before you even have to say anything about them, okay, or do anything about them. It's going to speed up that live appointment process because they're going to be educated, informed, and in tuned of what you are and who you are and what you do. And that, so now it's shortening up my buyer presentation. It's shortening up my seller presentation when I'm meeting with them, and I'm able to ask them and structured so that I can personalize and customize it. So if I ask you if you've taken time to go through it and you haven't, then I know that I've got to go from everything from A to Z. Does that make sense? But if I
Yeah.
ask you, have you gone through it? And yeah, we got this and this, I can now highlight what are your biggest concerns? What are your biggest questions? What are your biggest things and what you need from me and what you want from me? And now I can now tailor and customize and tweak and present not in the box, but outside the box, a more personal and more concierge type of a presentation, because I know that you've been brought up to speed on a lot of it, and now you just are needing to reflect on what is concerning to you, what you left unanswered, and be more customized and more personal relative than just doing the inside the box type of presentation and dialogue. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
And the last thing I think is the most important thing is it helps me win the listing. It helps me win the exclusive buyer agency agreement before I've even met with them face to face. And that's a huge, huge important thing for me, and giving me that edge, and being time sensitive and being personal sensitive and being efficient is a huge benefit to me and my business and strategy. Okay. So I'm going to just touch base on the process. So this is the pre-process. Think about this. What are all the things, and you can write this down, what are all the things that I could do for somebody or to somebody before I have actually even met them face to face? So let's assume the initial request has already come in. Hey, Wade, it's Mr. and Mrs. Seller. We want you to come and give us an evaluation of our home and give us a presentation, do that. So let's assume that has come in, okay? So then in my process, automatically, I will have your materials delivered. And you have options. You can email option it. I believe that email is too much, and we get too much, and it's not wow factor, and it's not something that we enjoy to receive. So I'm either physically going to deliver it by hand, or I'm going to have a courier service. So in my business, my executive assistant, she would have it couriered to you immediately and delivered on site to you before we even met in person. And I'm going to show you what formats that comes in, okay, in a few minutes. Second, then myself or my executive assistant is going to make the phone call follow-up that you've confirmed that you've received the courier delivery, you've received the information, the packaging and that, and then they're going to take the liberty to do a pre-appointment question Q&A. And I'll sell them on the benefit of that pre-appointment questionnaire. In order for us to do a more efficient, to really understand your needs and wants and your home and your story and your property, would now be a good time for us to ask you some questions about it. And I'm going to go through those questions and what question to ask. But again, how many people get anything delivered in advance? Little or none. Would you agree? How many people get a follow-up call? Did you receive it? And then a pre-appointment question Q&A to better understand their needs and wants and their property story and their story before we've even met in person. Little or none, would you agree? So again, right away, those two steps in my process are setting me apart from everybody else, okay? Then I'll ask them to go through that questionnaire, and there's questions that I'm going to go through that in a minute, and then I'll ask them to review those materials, because there are certain things in the material you're needing to do for me and for us when we get together, so I'll know that I'm holding them accountable and getting them involved in the process, okay? And then I'm going to go through that pre-appointment questionnaire, and sometimes it's my executive assistant or it's me, depending on who's available. I find when it's my assistant, they're open to share everything and anything. When it's me, they're a little bit more holding their cards to their chest. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So when my executive assistant does it for me, I will reward her if I get the listing, if she's done an outstanding job on that pre-appointment questionnaire. And here are some examples of what I have in my pre-appointment questionnaire. So it'll be based on how did they hear about us? Why do they want to sell? Who referred them? Who else are they interviewing? And when are they interviewing them? Right? If we can answer all your questions to your satisfaction, would you be in a position to list immediately? When would you like to get the marketing started up? Who will be present at the appointment when we meet? When you meet, what kind of marketing do you want? What are some of the most important things that you choose to make a decision on the client, on the agent that you're going to choose to represent you in your home? When do you need to actually move, right? Have you done business with a real estate professional in the past, and what was that like, right? When do you actually want to list? What are your financial situation in regards to debt and loans and things like that? Do you need their properties evaluated and done for you? These are all the types of questions that are arming me for my visit face-to-face, and I can do some reconnaissance on them and their properties in advance before my presentation, allow me to do a better job. Would you agree?
Yes.
How many people would like to know who else they're interviewing and when they're interviewing? How many people would like to know how much they owe and what's owing and that? How many people would like to know their past experience with salespeople and what that was like, and how they, and what they would be choosing, their decisions and important factors on that? There's so many good nuggets in here in that pre-appointment questionnaire. Plus, we're confirming the appointment and the time and who we're going to be meeting with, and ensuring that that person's on title that we're meeting with, because we have an obligation to make sure that those people are present and there. Plus, we don't want to present or want to be there without the decision makers being present at the presentation as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So think of other things that you could do pre-appointment, that you could do research, send, make available, and try to really set your pre-process apart from everybody else and differentiate yourself and be more efficient and wow and awe them and get the business before we've actually met them in person for the business. Okay. That's the task. That's the goal. And so I'm going to challenge you to think and create other ways in which you can differentiate yourself and do that. So let's get into the actual presenting and the packaging of my pre-listing appointment. So option one is what you see here on the back. This is done by a company called Shutterfly. It's a coffee table, high-end, glossy, beautiful presentation book that can be developed. So you might be the type of personality where it's a book and it's professional and it's tight and it's clean. That may resonate with you and on doing a presentation book. This book has everything in it, and I'm going to go into detail what's in this book, but that's option one. Option two is you might be more of a gift basket or more of a swag bag or more of a wow and awe 2 meters high, 2 meters wide kind of person, and that your personality is big and wide and over the top, so your packaging should be big and wide and over the top. So that's another option of some of my coaching clients and how they present their packaging. Imagine if a book like this, or imagine if a basket like this and that arrived at your doorstep before we've even had met and done business with, and what it would do for your business. Right. And last but not least, I saw this at the trade booth in NAR, and these are branded boxes and packaging up boxes and that's another methodology in doing it. That at the end of the day, choose the kind of packaging that suits you and your personality, and then figure out whether you want to personally deliver it, the assistant delivers it, a courier delivers it. Would you agree that this would be far more dramatic and more presentable and more wow factor than sending an email PDF? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yep.
Definitely.
Right. So there are some options in that, and you can decide on what options that you like and what methodology of packaging you want. I'm looking at it and going, I don't know about you guys, but a listing is in my neck of the woods here is about an $18,000 ticket item, and that in some cases, what would it be in your area there? $20,000-$30,000 ticket item for that?
40, 50. Yeah, I mean, it could be 40, 50,000.
40, 50,000. So I guess when your brain kicks in and says, well, what does this cost? Ask yourself, what does it cost to get business that's worth $40,000, $50,000, $18,000, $20,000? The cost to me of this and what is involved in this is priceless. Would you agree? Like, my gosh, if I could invest 30, 40, 50, $100 into swag boxing books and things like that to deliver to get a $20,000 to $50,000 commission check, it just seems like a no-brainer. But from some of us right now, the voice is kicking in and saying, I can't afford to do that. I'm going to argue that you can't afford not to do that. And then imagine if you're up against somebody that's doing this, they're crushing you and burying you before you've even met with the people. And I don't care how good looking you are, how good your personality is, and how charming you are, like Ramesh and Jamil are, right? I'm going to tell you that it's not good enough to go on looks and charm and personality these days, right? It's a big ticket item, and you got to invest and pay to play to get the results you're looking for. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes.
All right. So what's in it, Wade? What do we do? So item number one, your bio. So share with them your past, your family, your successes, your awards, your achievement, your biography. That would be an opening piece that you could include. The business, your years of experience, your expertise. That's component number one in your pre-list, pre-buyer package, okay? Component number two, everybody in this industry has a team. What do you mean, Wade? I don't have a team. Yes, you do. You include a photo, a name, and a biography or a description of each team member. For example, your lender, your title rep, your home inspector, your broker owner, your photographer, your IT, your personal executive assistant, your graphic designer. All the people are displayed so it looks like you have a team. Would you agree? Everybody in the room has a team. You just got to dig deep and put it out there and show and display your team. Would you agree that there's benefit in numbers, perception-wise, to a seller when you have more people serving you at a higher level? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. So we all have a team. You just got to reach in and just pull it out, okay? Section 3, you've got a mission statement and your core values, okay? Why you do what you do, your purpose, what you believe in, your philosophy, core values, and that, and sharing those. Would you agree that people gravitate to companies that have purpose, that have a reason, a mission behind what they do and why they do it, and they have core values and beliefs and understanding of what it is, and that resonates with them, people, and that sets you apart from everybody else in the industry, the 1.4 million people as well. Does that make sense to you guys? And having that mission statement, that corporate charter, that purpose statement, what you believe in, your core values, and that this will help you set you apart and display it in your packaging, and I'll show you how that looks. Next one, your service guarantee, your guarantee that if you're not happy, you can easy exit, get out at any time. Is that important to people to know that they have an easy out? Yes or no?
Yes.
Absolutely, right? That I don't want to tie anyone into a contract. If I'm not here to take your listing or your agreement for buying agreement, unless I can deliver and we can serve you at the highest level. So you can get out at any time. Give me an opportunity to fix and amend it, but you can get out at any time. Okay, that's piece number 4. Piece number 5, the step-by-step buying process, the step-by-step selling process. Has it changed? Has it evolved? Yes. You can't assume that people know what buying process is and what the selling process is, and you need to educate them and inform them and equip them so that they feel like they're equipped and understanding what it is you do and how you do it. So you have to put that process into play, okay, and help them. Another part for sellers, how you find the buyers or how you find that right property. Would that be an important illustration of what you do and how you find buyers or how you find the right property? Yes or no?
Yes. Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Testimonials, right? So third-party testimonials, pictures, visuals, things like that are showing what it's like to do business with you, what they experienced, what they did, what you did best, what they liked most about it. The power of that third-party voice of what it's like to do business with you. There's a technique called the feel, felt, found. You're probably feeling a little bit anxious about doing business because we've just met, right? But let me just show you what people have found doing business with. They felt the same way and nervous and apprehension, but here's what they found doing business with us. And now it speaks from a third-party source, and the power of the third-party testimonial will help you show and display what it is it's like to doing business with you from someone else's voice, okay? Number 9, a list of what the seller will need to have when you meet them on that appointment, or what a buyer will need when you go out and when you meet with them on the initial appointment. Equip them, get them involved in the process, pull them in and get them involved in it and show them what it is they need and what they need to do in that, and get them to buy in and work together. It's a team, not a solo activity here, and we're working and joining forces together. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes, right.
All right. Number 11, the things they love most about their home, okay? And you can do this for sellers and for buyers because this will help identify what a buyer wants. This will help identify what a seller really truly endures about their home. It's a great little exercise to do that with a buyer and a seller, okay? And get them to do that in advance as a little homework assignment, okay, in that package, okay? Next thing, there's a USB drive in there or a video link for them to show the 10 mistakes about. I love David Knox's video on how to prepare your home to sell or how to choose the right agent. There's some great video content or USB content or links that you could include that they could go to and understand how to prepare their home to sell, how to price their property, how to choose the right agent, and how to find the right home and how to find that right agent when they're buying and things like that. You can integrate that interactive visual component to your packaging in that. And I don't know about you, but I'm a visual type of person, so I like to see things in videos and watch things in that engages me higher than just being told or read to or having to read stuff. Would you agree?
Yes.
All right. Now, the last thing is to put the Midas touch. If you've Googled them and searched them in advance and they have a dog or a cat, put pet stuff in there. If they have kids, put kid stuff in there. Customize and personalize popcorn, bottled water, swag, a notepad, magnets, pens, things like that. Enhance the packaging and enhance the experience and wow and awe them with little items and that to make them a part of them. I use this analogy, make them feel like they're a first class passenger in your airline and not sitting in the back of the plane. We talked about that last week, right? So those are pieces and components that I think are incredibly important to integrate into the packaging in that. Any questions or any comments or anything that I'm doing before I move into to showing you some examples and what they actually look like? Any comments or questions?
Nope.
Nope, we're good. All right, let me show you a couple of actual coaching clients' packaging, what they look like. So here is what we call the informed home buyers package, okay? So this is for the buyer and the buyer content that they're using. This is an agent of mine, a coaching client of mine. She has her cover page, and imagine this displayed in a booklet. Imagine this displayed in some sort of format that pops and it wows and awed them. And then we talked about that. Here's the thank you for contacting me and the opportunity, the Gratiscribe page. So I'm just being humbled and grateful for the opportunity to be able to do that. That's my intro page. Then a little bit about the area and where I live and where I do business. There's the bio page, as you can see in her story and about her and that. Then there's their mission statement and her core values that I mentioned a part about it. So here's her mission statement. Here are her core values and that. In a down market, in a difficult time, people resonate with companies that have values, old-fashioned values that have purpose, that have mission statement. It gives them a level of trust and comfort, okay? Here are testimonials and visuals of people and what they found doing business with her in the past. Here's her team, what I mentioned about the pictures and the descriptions of who her team members are. Here's what happens prior to us meeting and what they need to do and what I'm doing before we meet, okay? So this is called the safe island. A safe island, folks, is you're telling the client what you're doing before it actually happens and what's going on behind the scenes and giving them a level of comfort and knowing and knowledge of what's going on without them knowing what's going on. And everybody in the room wants to know what they're going to do before we do it and how it's going to be done and how it's going to be delivered in that prior to us meeting and getting together. It's a huge safe island, and it's something that really helps you trust and develop. Some more integrated photos of the area, what we're actually going to do on that first appointment and what I need from you on that first appointment, setting those expectations, educating them, bring them up to speed so that they're well informed before we even get together and building that comfort level with them and that trust. What happens between our first and second meeting? So I'll literally leave them with a gift, a token gift. I had a custom chocolate, a thank you chocolate bar by a small chocolatier made in my community here. I left in the custom chocolate bar with a little swag bag as a token of my appreciation of the ability to come and meet with them between the first and that second visit on the seller side of things and from the buyer side of things, okay? What's going to happen in that second appointment when we get together? I talk about my platinum home purchase plan and what I provide to them and do for set me apart from other agents in regards to a buyer's agent and a buyer's person, okay? The step-by-step process on the buyer process and what happens, and then we go into more closing pieces and more things, and then what we do in the actual offer process, what we actually do in the inspection process, what we actually do in the closing purchase, and all of the different things that happen in that. Again, can you see the benefit of them getting this material, reading this material, educating them and bringing them up to speed and advising them before they've even got together and experienced it? Do you understand the benefit of that, and you can see the impact?
Yep.
Right? So here's the move process and the moving in process and the cover page. So can you see that this kind of marketing piece and this kind of information and equipping it with a buyer, would this set us apart from any other buyer in the industry, buyer's agent in the industry, yes or no?
Yes.
Would it add value to them?
Yes.
Yeah, would it give them a level of comfort and professionalism and trust with you before we've even met?
Yes.
Right, absolutely. So we got to assume most of us, there's good, better, and best with a buyer. The good agents are meeting them out at a showing. The better agents are meeting them at a third-party location. The best agents are meeting them at the office. Why is the office the best?
But it's a business presentation.
Well, and I think the biggest thing is the qualifying of it. If they're not serious enough to come to my office, then they're not serious enough to buy yet. Does that make sense to you? Right? So, so them coming to the office displays and shows me their level of commitment and qualifying, and that versus meeting them at a third party like Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts or meeting them at a showing and out in the field at the outset, okay? So again, doesn't matter where I'm going to meet them. I just need to figure out where I'm going to meet them, how I'm going to meet them, and getting this materials in their hands. Does that make sense? Okay?
Yeah.
So a lot of times the buyer stuff probably will be difficult to courier or to hand deliver, but worst case scenario, we can deliver it in a PDF. Not the same impact, but worst case scenario, we'd like to get it in advance with them in a PDF, but then I can deliver it in hand when I meet them in person on our first stop and our first visit as a listing, as a buyer's presentation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Listing. So this was an outstanding client of mine and a coaching client of mine that was missing out and losing on the listing appointments and started using this material, and now he doesn't lose the listings, right? So he delivers. He chose the book format. He actually went to the landscape. So he went horizontally. He went vertically, went horizontally, not vertically in his booklet. So he tried to change up the format of his book. But again, here's Kevin's thank you page and his humble and gratitude page. Here is Kevin's awards and his history and his experience and what he's done and his accomplishments and that, showing that he lists homes and sells homes and not just lists homes. Okay. Here's his mission statement and his core values to a seller. Here's his testimonial page with his sellers and what they experienced doing business with him. Here's his team members page. Here's his steps to selling your home page and advising them and educating them on that. Here's his prior to our initial appointment activities and what I do and what's going to happen. Here's what we do at our first meeting and when we get together. Again, between our first meeting and our second meeting and to the second appointment and what happens in that transition. Then what he does through the listing process of your home and what a process looks like and how it happens and what happens and when it happens. Then how I market it and how I find buyers for your home. Then his accolades of his brokerage and his organization, plus his philanthropy and his giving back side of it that he adds to it as well, because it's dear to his heart of giving back and community involvement. Okay. Again, this is something that will set him apart, and he's now not losing the listing, right, to someone who will do it for less or to list it for more. And it's setting him apart and helping him win that business and cutting out his commission cutting process, cutting out him losing from somebody listed higher and will drop their price point and their commission point in that. It just, they're so impressed that they want to see him and meet with him and do that. The other thing I always suggest is on the first day of the listing, having a bouquet delivered to the seller because it enhances their home, it wows them in their experience. And I've actually literally picked up other agents' clients from that bouquet of flowers being delivered on that first day of that listing, right? And so just another way of enhancing my process, another way of going at it. So I would challenge you all to sit down and figure out how I can enhance the pre-process, how I can enhance the first visit, between the two visits, the second visit, and the first week of the listing and what to do. The last thing I do is in the first week of listing, not only the bouquet of flowers is that, but we start putting together a seller's book. It's a book of everything and anything about their property, about their home and that. So in that book it's left on the dining room table for the buyer's agents to look at. We have improvement receipts on their renovations. We have utility bills. We have the neighbors' stories. We have transportation stories, the local grocery store, everything and anything that a prospective buyer would want to know about that home and about that neighborhood and about that area is sitting in that book displayed for them to look at it and do that. That's what we're working on together, them and us, the seller and myself, in the first week of the listing. Would you agree that that would help and do a better job of selling their property to a buyer's agent that knows nothing about the home? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes. What about Wade, just a quick question.
Yeah.
What about if a seller is relocating and they're leaving and whatnot, why don't they get the perspective of the seller in the book of the best restaurant, the best cleaner, the school?
Yes.
Kind of like a perspective, of the seller.
Yeah, 100%. That should be in that seller's book as well on the table too as well, right? Where all the best place to get coffee, who's the best dry cleaner, who's the best mechanic, right? I love it. Anything that you can do to better equip and enhance it, and because it's making your listing now more compelling and competitive, right? Not more expensive, right? And that's what you need to be, is compelling and competitive, right? And because you can't, unless you want to relocate it to a different neighborhood, you can't make it more expensive. Would you agree?
Right. Right.
Yeah, love those ideas. Love those ideas of including that in the materials. Okay, so that gives you an idea of, and I'll send you these samples and that as well, and include them in there, of what a buyer's package and what a seller's package is, what the formats look like, what's in those packages, and what you need to do, how to do the process and that, and sit down and take the time to do this. And last but not least, in summary, right, I believe it's the consumer-centric service providing is going to set you apart. It's all in the process. It's all in the presentation. Okay. If you build this, they will come. Guys, you can attest to this. Stepping our game up, we win. We're not losing anymore, right? It's a game changer for us, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to stand out. You're going to wow them. You're going to awe them. You're going to be a lot like nobody else. You need to be a lot like nobody else, man. 1.4 million agents, you need to be a lot like nobody else, right? And at the end of the day, any way I can win business, win trust, win someone's business before I have met them is game changer for me and my business, and that, and to be able to increase my efficiency and to be able to streamline my timing of my actual decision time with them and them making decision to choose me. It's quicker and shorter than that. And I believe that this is one simple way. If you take the time to sit down and look at your process, look at your presentation, look at your packaging, look at your experience, this is where you're going to start to win more than you're going to lose. And this is where you're going to set yourself apart from everybody else in this industry, in this competition. Okay. Any other questions? Any other thoughts? Did you guys find that helpful and informative and game changer for you today, and being able to see how it's done and what to do and how to do it different?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Anything else I can help you with? We're good?
Any questions, guys?
Any questions, Wade? Wade, when I was talking to you, this is Mazen. When I was talking to you when you were here,
Yes.
you said do not do cold calling.
Yes.
You meant to change the scripts. Do you have any scripts that you can share with us in calling people?
Sure. In regard, like for a warm call script, what I'll do, Matt, I'm just going to send you those scripts and that, and I'll send those after the call and do that if that works for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Like my comment is gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen, the days of cold calling are done. You need to call about something that's going to add value to them. So you're calling with something that's going to add value to them. So think about what a seller or what a consumer needs, right? The benchmark pricing, the benchmark sale pricing, asking pricing, days on market, list to sell ratio. Like they want to know stuff that's it's particularly important to them and their property, not anything about you, and not just bugging them for the sake of bugging them. That doesn't work. So a script on, I need your help. Here's what I'm calling. Here's what I have for you. Here's the new benchmark sale price. Here's the benchmark asking price. Here's the benchmark days on, right? Provide them valuable information about them and their property, and not worry about you and your business and that. That doesn't work. That's just taking and assuming, wasting their time. You need to think about what they want and what they need, right? And use a warm approach. Don't use a cold approach. So a sale, a listing, an important statistic or information piece, or I need their help because I have a buyer looking. Those are my top 4 approaches when it comes to warm approach, okay? Not a cold approach.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Wade.
Okay, guys?
Wait, one more question. What's up?
Yeah.
This highway, the boxer. Where did you get this boxer?
Oh, did you hear that, Wade?
The boxes? Yeah.
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 Do you have
So
a link to that, or did you just Google it?
I just Googled it, and Google had a ton of companies that do them.
There's a lot of companies that
Yeah,
do
there's a lot of custom box companies that, and just Googling it, I was surprised what the competition. There's so many different, like, I bet you the best priced one, I bet you Vistaprint does it, and Vistaprint is the cheapest in the planet for anything printed that, and I guarantee you that Vistaprint would do this. I'm almost certain of it, and be the best price. Now, it needs to be shipped internationally, but the price point in that and getting them done will be outstanding from Vista. Guarantee it.
Yeah, we're just
They're more modern.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Thank you.
Yeah,
All right, guys. Thanks so much. You guys have a good week. Take care. God bless. Okay, bye for now.
So we're switching the box. And we're just gonna do the